everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial. And today we are painting the all-new, incredible Lady Malys. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. That's how we're going to say it for the rest of the video. So, if I've got it wrong, I'm sure you guys will correct me. But, this is the all-new Lady Malys from Games Workshop for the Drukhari that they very kindly sent me early to build up and paint with all of you, and that is exactly what we are going to be doing today. And I'm very excited for this one because, well, I think she's really, really cool. So, without further ado, we're going to jump in and we're going to start doing exactly that. So, the first colour we're going to be using is Stormfiend. We're going to be applying this over the top of all of her dark blue armour, which is the vast majority of it. However, we do of course have some areas that are not going to be Stormfiend. They're in fact going to be gold, but it doesn't matter too much if you get this on there. For example, that knee that I'm very close to, that is going to be gold. But we're going to be covering it over with a base paint, so we'll be alright. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but she has been primed in grey Seer. Of course, the future me will discover that I might have said that twice. But either way, we're going to get this Stormfiend over the top of all the areas that are going to be that sort of very dark blue. And then, once that's done, we're going to come back. So with all that Stormfiend applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Leviadon Blue, and we're going to apply this over the top. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion, and we're going to be applying this over a couple of different details. So the first place we're going to be applying this is over kind of the soft parts of the trousers, which is just in here, like so. And like that. The other place we're going to be applying this is over the top of her gloves, and we're going to be applying this over the top of the cord around her neck and the outside of the cloak. So with all of that Black Legion applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take two colours, Nuln Oil and Black Legion. I'm going to use this over the top of the hair. So we're going to start with the Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this over the top of the entirety of the hair. Excluding those tips. We can do something slightly different for those. There we go. And then we're going to wash the brush, grab some Black Legion, and then we're going to apply this over the top, around here. Like so. And then we're going to bring it down to around about there, where we're going to then wash the brush, grab some Nuln Oil, and use this to blend it out into the rest of the hair. So with that all done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take two colours, Nuln Oil and Mantis Warrior's Green. And we're going to apply this over the top of the bladed fan and over the top of these tips of the hair. So we're going to start with the hair and the Nuln Oil. We're going to apply this over top, like so. And then we're going to wash the brush. Grab some Mantis Warrior's Green, and then we're going to apply this over the top of the tips of the hair, like that. What we're then going to do on the bladed fan is basically the same thing. So we're going to do the Nuln Oil, starting like this. However, rather than do the whole thing, we're just going to do about half, and then we're going to wash the brush, grab that Mantis Warrior's Green, and apply this like so. So with those two bits now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to apply this over top of the blade. And so with that all done, we then want to take some Skeleton Horde. I'm going to apply this over top of the inside of the cloak. With that Skeleton Horde all applied, we're now going to take a little bit of Guilliman Flesh, and we're going to apply this over the top of her face and ears. And so with that all done, we're then going to do a little bit of blending on the blade. So we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Sigvald Burgundy. And we're going to apply this towards the base of the blade, going up to around about here. Then we're going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and then we're going to blend that burgundy into the Agrax Earthshade. Is that all done to the blade? What we're now going to do is we're going to take some Tyran Blue and we're going to apply this over top of the veil. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over top of her heels, in the sole of the shoes. But we're also going to apply this over top of the bladed armoured tail. As well as this kind of hair tie. I'm not sure what you actually call that. But that bit up there. And so with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining details. So with that all done, it's now time to shade it. And we're going to start by taking some Aggaros Dunes. I'm going to use this to shade all the gold. With all that Aggaros Dunes applied, we then take some Nuln Oil. And we're going to use this to shade the silver and the black of the cloak. So with that all done, Lady Malys is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. She's looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave it there. No, we're going to take it to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some highlights. Now, the first of these is going to be some thinned down Thousand Suns Blue. And we're going to use this to highlight all of the blue. So with that Thousand Suns Blue all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Temple Guard Blue. I'm going to use this to highlight the really sharp edges of the blue. So with that Temple Guard Blue all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Baharroth Blue. I'm going to apply this to the absolute corners of all of our blue. And so with that all done, it might be a little bit early, but what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the silver, but we're also going to use this to highlight and pick out the little spikes in all the armour. Just like that sort of thing. So with that all done, it's now time to move on to a colour that isn't blue. And what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the black. And the colour we're going to be using first for this is some thinned down Eshin Grey. Use this as mentioned to highlight all the black. So with that Eshin Grey all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to add some little spot highlights to all the black. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Administratum Grey. I'm going to apply this to the sharpest points in all the black. However, one little caveat to that is the other thing we're going to do with the Administratum Grey is in the hair, as it starts to transition between the Black Legion and the Nuln Oil. We're just going to use this to highlight the hair. This is only going to be around about sort of 4 strands around there. And so with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Corax White, and we're going to use this to relayer the veil, just leaving where that Tyran Blue is settled in the recesses. However, what we're also going to do is we're going to use this to highlight the remaining parts of the hair and the blades of the fan. And with that Corax White all applied, we then take some thinned down Pink Horror, and we're going to use this to highlight the pinker parts of the blade. And so with that all done, we then take some thinned down Pallid Wych Flesh, and we use this to highlight the bonier part. Like that. And then over the top of this little bit here, we just add a little dot, and a little dot, like that. So with that all done, we're now going to take a tiny little bit of Black Legion, and we're going to apply this over the top of her eyes. And with that Black Legion applied to the eyes, we then take a tiny little dot of Screaming Skull. And we're going to apply this in the corners of the eyeballs. And so with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. I'm going to use this to highlight all the gold. And so with that all done, to finish off Lady Malys, we're going to take some Volupus Pink. We're going to apply this over the top of all of the gems. And so with that base now complete in the same style as how we usually do things around here, Stirland Mud, Dry Brush with Tyrant Skull, Black Templar for the rock, and some tufts from Gamer's Grass, Lady Malys is now finished, and she is a nice little addition to the Drukhari range, and just kind of helps towards that sort of making the characters feel nice and characterful. Especially this one alongside the new Archon. It's very nice. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.